this video we will discuss about introduction to transportation in animals and plant and circulatory system. This is in the topic of transportation in animals and plants of Biology Standard 7th CBSE. Now we will first look at introduction to transportation in animals and plants. Now this word called as transportation in animals and plants, is it a transport system of animals and plants? Yes, it is like this only. This is the main office called as the heart, and the another roads that are called as the blood vessels, arteries, vein, pulmonary circuit, and that all. In the real circulatory systems look like this. In reality, there are so many trillions of cells which are taking the oxygen and sending to the cell to energize us, and then we spend that energy by doing some work. Because of that, trillions of cells in a body get energy by the respiratory systems by using the oxygen. In our last chapter we had learned about respiratory system, correct? That means in respiratory system we had said that when we breathe, at that time oxygen which is there is taken away, and that is taken by the carbon dioxide and oxygen, send it to the blood, and when the blood takes that, arteries and veins, arteries take the carbon dioxide through the lungs, and then it will come back, and then the veins which are there takes the oxygen and send it to all the cells. That's why we can see some veins over there. These are called as the blood vessels. We can see here some veins are over here. These veins are called as the pulse over here. If we put a hand over here, we will see some beats over here. That are the heartbeats of a heart. Because of that, these are called as pulses. You will hear that same sound over here or your leg also. The pulse are in some body parts only, because some pulses are deeply buried inside our body. Here's our first topic of introduction is completed. Now we will see what is circulatory system. Now when I say circulatory system, what's come to your mind? When the circulatory system is there, it circulates the blood through our body. This is how circulatory systems look. This is the heart over here. This part of our heart is called as, this is left and this is right side. This is called as the left atrium. This is called as left atrium. This is called as, this part of a heart is called as left atrium, and this part which is the left side of this heart is called as left ventricle. As same way, this is called as right atrium, and this is called as right ventricle. This is right atrium, left atrium, then it is left ventricle, this is right ventricle. As simple as that. Just we must have to remember atrium and ventricle. We can easily name them by using the sides which are there. This is left, this is right. That means this is left atrium and this is left ventricle, and this is right and this is right. That is, it is right atrium and this is right ventricle. Now why do I draw such a graph over here? This is lungs over here. Why do I attach blood vessels to the lungs over there? So that our respiratory system can be useful. That is, when the oxygen and the carbon dioxide is taken by the blood, at that time first it will go through the two types of blood vessels, arteries and the veins. There are two types of blood vessels. Arteries, which is first artery, and veins. Arteries and veins. These are the two types of blood vessels, and there are more two types of some other blood vessels that are used in heart. These are called as pulmonary circuit and systemic circuit. What do these two systemic do? They help us in breathing and to circulation of the blood. Now before looking at a heart, we must have to look about what is meant by blood. Now what is meant by blood? Blood is the thing that is useful for our body. As same way, if we take two beakers over here, if we take one beaker over here, let's call it beaker A, and if we take another beaker over here, let's call it beaker B. Now what I will do in this beaker, in if I put water, small quantity of water, that means what happened over here? H2O is get added. H2O in both the cases is added. Then what in this case over here, if we add some sugar over here, some sugar particles. In this case, if I add some sugar particles and then if I put some lime over here, lime juice over here, lime, then what I will get is a lime sherbet. But in this case, if I put plasma, RBC, WBC, platelets, then what I will get is a blood. That means blood is a mixture of water plus of plasma. Plasma is one liquid. Then contains of RBCs, WBC and some platelets. This is water. Second is plasma. Then there is RBC and WBC. And then there are platelets. And there are some more particles that are not found in the blood, but they are dissolved in the blood. That means these are the following things which we know that they are inside the blood. Now there are two more words over here, RBCs and WBC, platelets and plasma. Water is known for us, but these 1, 2, 3, 4 terms are not known for us. First we will see about RBCs and WBC. Now what is meant by RBC first? RBC means red blood cells. Red blood cells. These red blood cells looks like this, where they have dumps on both two sides. They look like this and they have red color, and that red color is taken by the blood cells. That red pigment is called as hemoglobin. The coloring pigment of the red blood cells is called as hemoglobin, which gives the red blood cells is red color. That is red blood cells or red blood corpuscles. These are same. And WBC, white blood corpuscles or white blood cells. As same way, plasma and WBC are like the police force of our body. They are like, for example, if we are playing cricket, at that time the bowler spins the ball so fast that we hurt ourselves on a knee. Then what happens? The best example is that when we fall, at that time we get scratched onto our leg. At that time blood will seep out. That is a basic reason. Because of that, WBC and plasma much helpful for us. The plasma will take as much as nutrients and WBC will like that no bacteria will come inside. That means we must have to take the blood and we must have to sweep it over there. So that the blood and the plasma, which is WBC and plasma, white blood cells and plasma, will take as much as nutrients as we eat. It takes the nutrients and send it to the clot over there. After some time, we can see there are some clot over there. That clot is made up of WBCs and plasma. And when that clot becomes smaller, we call the WBC and platelets sending all the nutrition to that clot over there. When the clot gets smaller, at that time the clot will fall off, and that fall off will just dry plasma and WBC. Then we get as much new as skin. That process is called as clotting, by which WBCs and plasma is useful. And what is mean by platelets? Platelets are those things which are used for blood test. If the blood test contains of high platelets, more than about 11,000, then doctor will give us some medicines. If it is less than 11,000 or less than 10,000, then also we want approach or accurate platelets in our body, so that our body can fight ourselves. That is useful for the platelets, RBC, WBC and plasma. And there are some more contents over there. Now, if I ask you one question, that in the blood over here, if I take out RBCs, then what will be the color of the blood? The color of the blood will be yellow. Why? Because the plasma color is yellow, correct? That means plasma, suppose if I take 100% over here, if I take 100% over here, total 100%, from which about this much percent is plasma, remaining this much percent is water, and about this much percent is RBC, and this much percent is WBC. This is WBC, RBC, WBC, and this is remaining contents. Plasma is in high contents, so that if we remain the RBC, if we give out the RBCs, that means only the plasma color will be there, that is yellow. Because of that, the plasma color is yellow. If we put out the RBCs from our blood, then our color of blood will be yellow. Now there is a method by which we can separate plasma from the blood and RBC and WBC. That is called as chromatography. Suppose if I take a blood over here, if I take a blood in this beaker, about this much blood, and if I want to separate plasma, WBC and RBC, how do I separate it? There is a mixture. That means in chromatography we must have to increase the gravity so that the layer that is there below will come upwards. That means the best way of increasing gravity is to shake it in one shaker. If I shake it, I will get one over here. That means I will get this as WBC and another contains, and this layer I will get is a plasma layer. That means I will separate plasma by using sedimentation. That means plasma is removed. We put this in this beaker, plasma. And then from this remaining part, I want to separate WBCs and RBC and another components. First we will separate WBC. Then what happens if we separate WBC by using same method? WBC will come upwards. Then if we take WBC in this beaker, remaining part is RBCs and another contents. If I again shake it, I will get RBC and remaining substances over here. If I again mix it, I will get a perfect blood, but there is a difference between the blood. For example, the blood can be counted using some letters, B positive, A minus, something like this. B positive is the blood, A, B positive is the blood, B negative is the blood. Like this, the blood can be counted by using the level of plasma, WBC, RBC and the platelets. That's how the blood is counted. We had talked much about blood. Now we will see about circulatory system. First we will see about arteries and veins. First we will see about arteries. Suppose if I take a heart over here, the largest artery is the aorta. That is called as aorta. This is aorta, which is the largest artery in a human body. If we look at the cross section of the aorta, we can see, suppose this is a cross section of the aorta. We can see that it has a diameter of 2.5 centimeter closest to the heart. That means this is one cross section of the aorta. We can see that this contains of about diameter of 2.5 centimeter and wall of about 2 millimeter. This is the size of the aorta. Now, if we take further cross section of the blood vessels. Now, if we look at the layers of the blood vessels, then what do we look? If we take one blood vessels over here, one artery over here, then we can see that there are some layers. The RBCs and WBC are going like this in this direction. Then we can see that there are 3 layers. Outer layer is called as tunica externa. The outermost layer is called as tunica externa. Inner layer, middle layer is called as tunica media, and that tunica media consists of collagen fibers and elastic fibers. Why? Because the force by which the heart is pumping the blood, because of that force, the blood vessels can be increase its size like this and then again contracts. Because of that, elastic fibers and collagen fiber will expand and relax. That's the process of by which tunica media is there. Contains of collagen fibers and elastic fiber. tunica media consists of two layers, collagen fibers and elastic fibers. And then there is the innermost layer that is called as tunica intima. Inner layer is called as tunica intima. It is also called as endothelium. Now we will revise that we had learned in the layer of this blood vessel. The outermost layer is called as tunica externa. Middle layer is called as tunica media. Consists of two layers of collagen fibers and elastic fibers. Inside that, the innermost layer, tunica intima, contain or also called as endothelium. Because of that, it expands and relaxes by the middle layer of tunica media, which contains of collagen fibers and elastic fibers. These are the layers of blood vessels. Now, I had drawn like these creatures over here. These are called as capillaries. Capillaries are the smallest arteries in a body. Because of that, capillaries are so small that RBC, only single RBC cell can go from that. Not so many RBC can grow. Only such a small RBC can go from the capillaries. Because of that, carbon dioxide and oxygen can be interchanged, and carbon dioxide can be thrown out and oxygen can be taken through the cells. Now here our topic of introduction and circulatory system is completed. In our next video, we will learn about excretory system and transportation in plants.